Friday. Hope everybody made it through a safe holiday. Oh, man. I barely did. Adam, how was your holiday?
It was relaxing. It's my July 4th is my mom's birthday, so I went down to her house. We went out to dinner. I hung out with her and my sister. Didn't do anything crazy, so I'm feeling pretty good this morning.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm sucking down a lot of water, vitamin water, coffee. I've got 4 separate vessels to drink liquid right now, so I need every single one of them. I've got lineup study up here right now. Yesterday's DK contest, America's Birthday Bash, 50K to first. Wasn't Osmo that took it down, but was Tom.
Yeah.
Brought himself 50K. I do have his exposures loaded. I do have your exposures loaded. Went a little light on Luis Castillo yesterday, huh?
Yeah, all the Matt Boyd.
You and Tom, actually. Tom had 56% Matt Boyd. He also had 50% Luis Castillo, so that's certainly going to help. I was sitting at the bar, got the alert on my phone that he was perfect through 6, and for some reason, the bar had the Luis Castillo game on, and it was not like it just shouldn't have been on. I was like, oh, cool. Right. I get to watch this, and then obviously didn't get it, but still 36.85 DK points yesterday. Tom had 50% Castillo, 56% Boyd. They were the 2 highest scoring pitchers on the slate.
Well, what the hell did he do on offense?
That's a good question. Let's find out. Let's remove pitcher here and add team. His most exposed team was the Cubs.
That'll do it.
Yeah, and they were the top scorer. Second most exposed team was the Tigers. They were the second highest scorer, so he nailed both stacks and the 2 highest scoring pitchers.
I'll say I know at one point, like before the Yankees game went off in extras, he was like 1st, 2nd, 5th, 10th or something.
He finished 1st, 5th, and 9th, and 15th. Yeah. So, and that's what's going to happen when you have all of the top 2 stacks and the 2 highest scoring pitchers. Just going to get pretty easy after that part. Top lineup, Luis Castillo, 17% owned. Matt Boyd, 26% owned. Obviously went bonkers. 5-man Cubs. No, 5-man Tigers, 4-man Cubs. Actually, no, 4-4. Pitcher in stack 1. So it was a 4-4 stack. You don't see that all that often. And then his 5th lineup was also 4-4. You run 4-4 a lot?
No. On bigger slates, I kind of just run 5s. On smaller slates, I create 4-4s and 4-3s in addition, but I create more of the 5-man variations and then just mix in some of the 4-man.
Any reason you don't do 4-4s on bigger slates?
Just because I prefer having the 5-man correlation in a stack.
Sure, time doesn't help as well.
Yeah, that too.
4-4 is not exactly a quick one.
Yeah, I'll say because for a lot of the season I had been doing 4-4, and it was just recently that I kind of cut those out on the biggest slates, and it does save a ton of time.
Yeah. Well, it worked yesterday, so shout out to Tom for taking that down.
Yesterday was only 6 games too.
Right. A couple other familiar names in some of the bigger contests: Piano Club, Papa Gates, Empire Maker. What did Alex take down here? The $10 extra inning on the early slate. But yeah, Tom, big winner. That's the biggest contest from yesterday. Shout out to the other boss man. We got 13 games today. And pitching's good. There's a lot at the top, or at least a lot for me. So I'm excited to get into it. Let's do the plugs right out of the gate. MLB Strategy is the promo code, 50% off your first month with us. Any monthly package you choose, including packages with Fantasy Cruncher. So if you want to check us out, now's the perfect time to do it. We are also brought to you by Yahoo Sports. Yahoo is the presenting sponsor of this show, of the Deeper Dive, and of the Early Bird podcast. And today, Friday, and Fridays mean Yahoo-specific shows. If you want to sign up at Yahoo, dropping the link right now into YouTube chat. This is Emacs Yahoo-specific article. There will be a link in that article to sign up for Yahoo. You can use the promo code AWESEMO and get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. It's a fantastic place to play, running the $3 no management fee contest for about a month now. It's the best contest you can get into each day. Highly recommended. We'll have the Yahoo specific show at 1 p.m. today. Myself, Jake Hari, and the boss, Alex Baker, coming on. We'll build a cash lineup. We'll build a GPP lineup. Take a look at all of your pitching options. So tune into that one. Deeper dive today. You and me. Running it back. No Lofty today. Live before lock tonight will be Jake Hari and Chris Randone. And then for those of you that are interested in NBA Summer League, we have a Summer League specific package. If you want to sign up for that, it's $19.99 for all of Summer League. You get Fast Eddie Fear's rankings, and he will be doing live shows each day throughout Summer League, and they are locked down, everybody. They are behind the paywall. If you want access to it, you need to sign up. There will be a post for those that are curious. There will be a post that goes up around 5 o'clock tonight that will have an embedded link to the stream. We'll also post the link in our Summer League Slack channel, but this is all locked down. If you want to get it, you gotta buy the add-on, and that is $19.99. If you go to awesemo.com/join, you can get a little bit more information on Summer League. Zion tonight. Zion, RJ Barrett. Should be fun.
Yeah, basketball.
No? Not excited about that?
I mean, it sounds cool. I'll forget that it's on by like 5 o'clock.
There you go. All right, you ready to do this?
Yeah, let's go.
Here we go. First game up. Nats and Royals. 6-run implied total for the Nats, 4.5 for the Royals, 64% chance to win for Washington. Austin Voth going for the Nats, Brad Keller going for the Royals. I need to get ownership if it's out. And it is. And it's been out since 8:30, so shout out to Tom for that one. That was probably not a fun one to do at 7:30 his time. I know I wouldn't have been doing it well. That's for sure. How do you feel about Voth or Keller here?
Not a whole lot of interest in either one. I think that the last time Voth pitched, it was a completely different slate, so I had interest. He was facing the Tigers. But here you have a pretty mediocre matchup against Kansas City, a below-average strikeout matchup, a pretty run-of-the-mill offense, not bad, not good. But they are back to basically full strength now that Mondesi's back in there, so it makes it a little bit tougher. The biggest thing, though, is just that Voth's price is expensive enough where on a slate with 13 games, I don't really see the need to get there. He's $35 on Yahoo. He's $7,700 on DraftKings. I think that if you're looking to pay down at SP2, you can actually probably pay down at SP2 and get away from him. 6,400 on FanDuel would be fine, except you're only rostering one pitcher. So I don't really see getting to him. And then on the other side for Keller, just not a strikeout pitcher, not particularly useful for DFS, and he doesn't have an appealing matchup against the Nats here.
Yeah, neither guy getting ownership on any site. So makes it kind of easy to just ignore these guys. No one really grading out all that well for me either. Nats bats, on the other hand, with a 6-run implied total, which as of right now is the highest total on the slate that I see. Also not that popular, which is interesting. They are 9th in ownership on DraftKings, 11th on FanDuel. Here's the more interesting piece. The Kansas City Royals have the most ownership on DraftKings right now. Thoughts?
That seems a little excessive. Their pricing is really appealing, so I get it, I guess. But if they actually are the highest owned team out of 26, I wouldn't expect to be there.
Yeah, they have the biggest gap between where I have them ranked and where they are ranked in ownership as of right now, and that's not a good thing. It's not a positive gap. Yeah, they are number 1. They are 5th on FanDuel. I mean, I get it. Like, Merrifield and Mondesi are the two most expensive bats in the lineup, $4,600, and not exactly a high price tag on DK. So it makes some sense, and it's not like rostering against Austin Voth is some sort of scary bit. How do you feel about the Nats bats, though? Only 9th in ownership on DraftKings. They're expensive.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, realistically, looking at the DraftKings pricing, I knew you had said Royals, but as I was saying that I could see it but wasn't really there, I was like, maybe he said Nats because that would make more sense. Like, if one of these two teams were going to be the highest owned, the one with the 6.2 implied run total, who they have a few expensive bats with Turner, Rendon, and Soto, but they're obviously worthy of the price. But beyond those guys, they're really cheap. Nobody above 4,300. Matt Adams, the only one above 4K, except for Turner, Rendon, and Soto. So you're rounding out your stacks with cheap guys. You can make variations of the Nationals that are just inexpensive across the board. And while I don't love picking on Keller because he does do a really good job of limiting home runs, he is a pitcher that pitches to contact. It does get hot and humid pretty much every single day this time of year in DC. So the ball should be carrying a bit more. I think the Nats clearly have a ton of upside here.
2% ownership right now projected on Juan Soto, 1% on Matt Adams. Can't beat that. And I get that Turner's 5,300, Rendon's 52, Soto's 54. They all should be those prices too. It's not as if it's like craziness. They're great. I like the Nats here. It's hard not to. But I'm with you. I don't love targeting against Keller just because of his style of pitching.
Yeah, and it's just one of those spots where if you're breaking down like there's a path for how Keller has success here, but there's just still no question that the Nats have a monster ceiling.
Completely agree. Favorite bat in this game?
Soto.
Yeah.
Soto or Mondesi.
It's probably Mondesi for me, but
yeah.
The fact that Soto is just 2%, that's craziness. Yeah. Give me Mondesi, but Soto is close.
Yeah, Mondesi's price is just incorrect.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, and I tend to have him like under projected, and I still really like him. So
yeah,
I can only imagine. Let's keep him moving. I don't think we have anything else here, right?
Nope.
All right. Multiple people in YouTube chat saying to hit the like button. I completely agree. Smart people in there. Pirates and Brewers. 5.2 run implied total for the Pirates. 5.3 for the Brew Crew. 51% chance to win for Milwaukee. Steven Brault going for the Pirates. Zach Davies going for the Brewers. Damn, we are starting off with some real garbage pitching options. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'll say, where were those good pitchers that you alluded to?
I guess they're coming. I don't have any interest in Brault or Davies. Do you?
No, outside of the caveat that they're 5,100 and 5,300 on DraftKings. So sometimes I get to those pitchers even if I don't like them.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They show up because of their price, not because of their ability.
But realistically, Aaron Sanchez is 4,900, and if I'm taking a really bad pitcher at a cheap price tag, that's probably where I'd go.
Ooh, I've got a different really cheap pitcher that I'm interested in, so that'll be fun to talk about, and it's not Sanchez.
I might have just not seen him yet.
Okay. Ownership. No one is trying to own the Pirates today, which is normal and surprising. They are flat 1%. Across the board on DK. A little bit more ownership to some guys on FanDuel. Brewers, on the other hand, number 1 stack in ownership on FanDuel, number 2 on DraftKings, I assume highly ranked on Yahoo as well. Not shocking to me. They're my 3rd ranked stack. So what do you want to do with the Brewers here against Steven Brault?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty appealing spot. It is a negative park shift for them, but Brault's been pretty lucky so far this year as far as limiting right-handed power. Sorry, I was looking at lefties. He's actually done a good job this year of limiting right-handed power. Not a high strikeout percentage, only 16%, but he has held righties to a 145 ISO, 149 expected ISO. His expected WOBA is 351, so he's actually been kind of decent in that department. If Ryan Braun is not in the lineup, I think it'll hurt quite a bit just as far as the depth and the upside of the middle of this order. But Brault's still not a pitcher that I totally believe in. So if Braun is in the lineup, I think that you get some pretty nice cheap right-handed bats with Braun at 43, Kane at 42, Aguilar at 3K, Keston Hiura at 4K. So I'm sure I'll get to some Milwaukee, but the park makes me like them a little bit less than I otherwise would.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page here. I get why they're owned. They should be owned. Aguilar at 3K is really crazy pricing there. It's hard. He's $7 on Yahoo too. I love those minimum prices.
Yeah.
I love it even more because it's $7. It's such a weird lowest price. I mean, I understand why it has to happen. You need to have some sort of balance, but to land on 7 as the base is just funny. 2K on FanDuel makes perfect sense. Nice round number. Yahoo, $7. I don't even know. I can't think of a single thing in my life that's ever $7.
Beer,
I guess. I don't even think about beer is like gas prices to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm actually paying, but I know that it's around $7.
Right. I've never looked and been like, give me this one because it's $1 cheap. I mean, I guess I did, back in the day when it was,
Yeah.
I need this beer to be 75 cents.
Judging from my experience as a bartender, that's something that happens. Well, and my life experiences, that's something that happens when you're in college and broke, and then when you turn like 55, 60 years old,
Yeah.
it starts to happen again.
Yeah. Yeah. Gas prices are another one where, like, my parents were just down here, and my dad was like, "Oh, gas is too blah blah blah." I still don't even know what it was.
Yeah.
I was just like, I mean, I got to get it one way or the other. So,
Right, exactly.
Like, they don't even have to publish the price as far as I'm concerned. Like, I'm not going to just not get it at that point. If I'm at the gas station, it's probably because I need it.
Right.
You don't
Yeah, it's
show
not
up
like
with 3/4 of a tank.
Right. Yeah, I didn't wake up today like I'm gonna go gas shopping. Oh man, too expensive. I'll wait.
Right. I really like the Brewers here, but I don't get the sense that I'll be over the field. That's my
Yeah, that seems
summary.
right to me.
They're hard to avoid. There's just too much power there, but that's
Yeah.
the same thing I say every single slate, basically. Do you see
If
yourself
Keston
getting...
Hiura-
Go ahead.
I'll say if Keston Hiura is hitting like 6th or 7th, I really like him as a one-off, like even if you're not stacking Milwaukee, just because he does have a ton of power. And if he is down towards the bottom of the order, we know he's just not going to get that much ownership.
Yeah.
So it would give you exposure to a pretty reasonably priced power bat at second base that people won't really be on.
Yeah, he's kind of popular on FanDuel, 18%, but he is the second lowest owned guy in the Brewers lineup on DraftKings, just 6%. Orlando Arcia at 1%, so not exactly shocking. Do you anticipate rostering Pirates? They're unowned.
I'm never opposed to taking guys against Zach Davies, but he's also not. It's not like he's a gas can pitcher, and he's getting a pretty sizable park boost going into Pittsburgh. Plenty of good left-handed bats in this lineup, especially Bell and Dickerson in the middle, but their prices have come up as well. Adam Frazier is not sitting at $3,600 anymore.
Yeah.
Josh Bell has returned his $5,600 price tag. Even Brian Reynolds is up to $4,700. So I kind of doubt that I get to a lot of Pittsburgh. It's a spot where it wouldn't be like shocking. It wouldn't be like the Giants winning a slate if Pittsburgh's the team you need. But if they're the team that you need, I doubt that I really have much.
Yeah, I'm on the same page here. Let's keep it going, I guess. 2 for 2 on timestamp so far, so I'm pretty proud of myself for that. Yeah. It's a really hard thing to remember to do. I don't know why that's the case, but it's the case. All right. Moving on. Blue Jays host... Nope, that's not how you spell Blue Jays. Blue Jays. Only one B. 5.4 run implied total for the Blue Jays. 5 run implied total for your Orioles. 54% chance to win for Toronto. Aaron Sanchez going for the Jays. Dylan Bundy going for the Orioles. And Jesus, we just keep naming garbage pitchers. Sanchez, little popular today. 23% expected ownership. And the Orioles are the 5th most owned stack, so this should go really well. Talk to me a little bit about Aaron Sanchez.
He's not very good at pitching. He should be, but he's not. The Orioles aren't very good at hitting. He's really, really inexpensive. I like cheap pitchers. I like pitchers against the Orioles. I don't like Aaron Sanchez. Majority wins.
I don't think I'm going to get to him.
Please don't tell me it's Kikuchi.
Yeah, so, about this slate, I'm trying to figure out a way to talk myself out of it being Kikuchi now. You seem really unhappy with that.
He sucks. Like, he's bad.
Yeah. I mean, is Aaron Sanchez good?
He's better than Kikuchi, I think, and more importantly, Oakland's a hell of a lot better than Baltimore.
Well,
we'll
get there.
I have them projected similarly, and Kikuchi's a little bit cheaper, but Kikuchi is freaking awful.
I'm going to pull up Kikuchi now just to have that Fangraphs page open. We'll get there. I don't expect to have Sanchez, and I'm not really mad about that if he's going to be 23% owned. 9% ownership on Yahoo. The fact that he's 4% owned on FanDuel is funny, too. That's not a spot that I want to be.
I say that seems high.
Yeah, that 4% too high. No ownership really going to Dylan Bundy. Do you have any interest in your boy Bundy here?
Somewhat.
8,100's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I wish he was a little bit cheaper or the slate were a little bit smaller. Toronto it seems like they're finally kind of starting to hit to their potential. Danny Jansen has stopped being like the worst hitter in baseball. He made some adjustments to his stance and talked about that. So hopefully those changes are actually here to stay. But obviously we would expect this lineup to be better going forward anyway, because they've added Guerrero, they've added Biggio, Teoscar Hernandez is back, Randall Grichuk's a better hitter than he has been for most of the year. So I still just don't think that Toronto's like the cake pitching matchup that it has been for a lot of the year. I think that they'll still be an inefficient offense and strike out, but I don't think it's a bad offense. Justin Smoke being back gives them another lefty. I think it's just kind of a mediocre spot where I probably don't end up at this price point all that often.
Okay. Hitting, quite popular in this game. Blue Jays are second on FanDuel, third on DK. Orioles are ninth on FanDuel, fifth on DK. Does this feel like a game that you're going to be stacking up?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah,
I'm under on both of those teams.
I get why they're popular. Bundy gives up a ton of home runs, and you have power here for Toronto. So at the very least, I would think getting to mini stacks and one-offs is appealing, but there's certainly upside for them to just blow up. And then on the other side, if Sanchez is going to be, like, what did you say, 23% on DraftKings?
Yeah.
I kind of doubt that he gets that popular, but if he were to, then the Orioles naturally would have appeal just because they are facing a pitcher who's not very good. And they are reasonably priced, especially Rio Ruiz and Chris Davis at 28 and 2,600 respectively. But on a 13-game slate, I don't think you're ever going to hear me like advocate for just jamming in Orioles bats.
Dude, I don't know if I would advocate jamming in Orioles bats on a showdown slate. Yeah, these guys are popular just across the board. Although VR and Cisco are soaking up all of the ownership on DK, 18% and 17%. Everybody else is at like 6%. So
yeah, I mean, I think they're both obviously good plays.
Yeah. On FanDuel, it's VR and Dwight Smith getting all of the ownership. And then on Yahoo, they're barely owned. So while they're showing up as the fifth most owned team, that's not really how it's shaking out. It's more of a two-man band for VR and Cisco. So I kind of like the Orioles then as a stack if you're just trying to get on the opposite side of Sanchez's ownership.
Yeah, Sanchez this year really hasn't been good against anyone. 19.7% strikeout percentage against lefties, 15.5 against righties, 377 expected WOBA to righties, 346 to lefties. So like he's been almost mediocre against lefties and less than almost mediocre against righties.
That's how I try to roster my pitchers. Give me all the guys that are almost mediocre. 22% ownership on Vlad right now. Is his price ever going to rise?
I mean, it's dumb. I wish it would because I don't really know what to do other than roster him.
Well, if you're playing a game today on DK where you're trying to roster the most second basemen, the Blue Jays are for you. 3 separate guys with second base eligibility on DK today.
They at least have two of them have multi-position at least.
Yeah. It would be a lot weirder if they didn't.
Yeah, that would be a brutal stack.
It's going to be a tough one to pull off.
Yeah.
Favorite bat in this game?
Vlad.
Yeah, same. They got to move his price. It's so stupid now. It just stands out every day and just doesn't change. Meanwhile, Lourdes Gurriel's 5,300.
Right.
Also been raking lately.
I was trying to see how Vlad's actually done this year, and I accidentally pulled up his dad. I was like, those are some really bad numbers, like looking at his like last year or two of his career.
Yeah, when he's 41 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Vlad's been league average. Like, he hasn't been super impressive this year. He's got a 98 WRC plus, 167 ISO, but it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I mean, the pedigree's certainly there.
Right. And even if this is let's say this is what he is the rest of the year, that's kind of what you're paying for.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess 3,800 is right for what he's done.
Right. But it's like he's not going to be worse than this ever until maybe he's 41.
Yeah, let's hope not, at least.
Right.
I don't have anything else here, do you?
No.
All right, let's keep it moving. Oh, okay, now we can talk about some legitimate pitching. Mets and Phillies, 4.9 run implied total for the Mets, 3.6 for the Phils, 63% chance to win for New York. Jake DeGrom going for the Mets, Vince Velasquez going for the Phillies. Those are some bigger numbers than I was expecting here. Okay. 50% ownership right now on Yahoo for Jake DeGrom, 28 on FanDuel, 41 on DraftKings. I think he's pretty clearly the best arm for today. 41's a lot.
Yeah, I have him as the number one pitcher as well. But if he's actually that expensive, I would expect that I come in below or at the most like around there, just because of the way that I play tournaments. It's pretty unusual. It takes a pretty unusual slate of pitching on a 13-game slate for me to be coming in overweight on a really expensive chalk pitcher.
Yeah, I can't imagine getting north of that number today. Not with the amount of guys that are also around him.
Yeah, and like normally that chalk pitcher's name is Chris Sale.
Yeah.
And it involves there being like no upside in the mid-range. Neither of those are the cases today.
Yeah, he is by far the chalk.
Yeah. And it's not a bad matchup with Philadelphia, but it's not like it's a great one either. It's just an average middle of the road matchup.
Yeah. You can almost add up the next two guys and like you just barely get past DeGrom's ownership. That's how big of a gap there is between DeGrom and everybody else from an ownership perspective. Yeah, I want him, but I don't need him that much. I figure I come in, I don't know, 25, 30, right, somewhere in that neighborhood. Which I don't. It's a hard thing to talk about because that makes it sound like we don't like him, but we're on the same page that he's like the best arm today.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with DeGrom. It has to do with, I think that in general on slates like this, what I've found is that I have more success in giving myself a chance to win the slate by not having 40+% of my lineups forced onto the same roster construction as the other 25,000 people playing, or 40% of the other 25,000 people playing.
Yeah, same page here. No ownership at all going to Vince Velasquez. He's $30 on Yahoo, $6,500 on FanDuel, $7,500 on DK. I like him as a paydown option on Yahoo, I guess. 7,500 is probably just too much for him on DK for his inability to go deep into a game.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. It's not like it's a super appealing matchup either. The Mets are pretty much league average in terms of production. They don't strike out a ton. Velasquez did throw 84 pitches last start, so
that's helpful.
Yeah.
For $30, I like him on Yahoo. That's
sure
where he needs to be, I guess. Makes for a decent second starter. No real ownership going to the Mets, mostly just Cano, who continues to be priced where he is. Absolutely no ownership right now going to the Phillies. I would like to get some Phillies stacks. I mean, not like a lot or anything, but they are unowned. I have no problem getting Bryce and Hoskins, Jay Bruce. I don't know, like 3% of the time?
I mean, sure, I guess.
You're not going to have any Phillies?
I can't tell you the difference right now between 0 and 3%, but
okay, fair enough. Favorite bat in the game?
Conforto.
Huh. I can't. I want it to be Bryce, but it's not. It's probably Conforto. How is Robinson Cano $9 on Yahoo? Okay, fair enough.
Hey, he's over 3K on DraftKings now.
Had to get there eventually, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else here. Just keep an eye on DeGrom's ownership. If it starts to tumble, that's probably a benefit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, to reiterate, he's my number one projected pitcher. So if you're making a contrarian lineup and you have room for DeGrom, go for it. It's not us saying that we don't think we're going to get to 40+% DeGrom if he's 40% owned. It's not a knock against DeGrom.
Right. Perfect. Keeping it moving. Rays and Yankees. 4.2 run implied total for the Rays, 4.5 for the Yanks, 53% chance to win for New York. Brendan McKay going for the Rays, Masahiro Tanaka going for the Yankees. This one really surprises me. So no ownership going to McKay right now. No ownership going to Tanaka either. 3% on Yahoo, 5% on FanDuel, 4% on DK. I expect to get more of Tanaka than that. Do you have any interest in Tanaka today?
Some. Like the price tag, I think, is pretty much correct. He has, prior to his last two starts, so I'd actually never, it's pretty crazy. His last start against Boston, he didn't even go a full inning, but he had a 0% swinging strike percentage. The start before that against Houston, he had a 1.1% swinging strike percentage.
Not bad.
But prior to that, he was back to posting his really good swinging strike numbers and just absolutely elite O swing percentage numbers, which both of those statistics were down for him earlier in the season when he was struggling with his splitter. He wasn't getting swings and misses or chases on it. And to be successful, he really has to. So I'm willing to throw out, for the most part, starts against Boston and Houston just because of those matchups. But in the starts prior to that, you're talking about teams like Tampa Bay, Toronto, the Mets, the Padres, the Orioles. Actually, Tampa Bay 3 times since the start of May. But he was getting, really high swing strike percentages. He was getting really high O swing percentages. So I do think that he has upside here. It's just that he's pretty expensive.
Yeah, he is 8K on FanDuel. That is the spot where I really like him.
Yep.
And only 5% ownership. So Yankees, completely unowned right now. Highest ownership is 6% to Gary Sanchez. They are basically 0 on FanDuel. Am I missing something? Or, are they not a really good stack? Am I crazy?
I mean, I think Brendan McKay is really good, but I have no I like getting to the Yankees at really low ownership. I mean, they only have a 4.4 implied run total here.
Yeah.
The park's not good. The pitcher's very good, I think. So it's not like it's a high probability matchup,
right?
But you can certainly just bet on talent here with a lineup facing a left-handed pitcher who's making his second major league start, and who it's worth keeping in mind. He had a good start against Texas. If you were watching that game because you rostered him in all of your lineups, like some people on the show did, it was not the most confidence-inspiring start when he wasn't getting strikeouts. He was getting, I think he took a no-hitter into the 5th, but it was just batted ball out every single time against Texas. So that's one start. You don't want to take too much from it, but it's at least worth pointing out that, I mean, this is by far a tougher matchup for McKay than that Texas start was.
There's just so much right-handed power here. It's insanity. Navigating this is tough. They're lucky that this is in Tampa and not in New York. But if Judge is 4,600 at 4% ownership, I want some. Encarnacion is 4,400 unowned. Gleyber Torres 4,800 dual eligibility unowned. I just need to. I'm just going to make sure that I have some Yankees here if they're not going to get any ownership, because basically every single person on this team outside of Urshela has and LeMahieu has some sort of pop.
LeMahieu does now too. He changed his swing.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, it's not the rest of the lineup pop, but he does have some power.
Yeah, I think these guys are just going totally underrepresented. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. Wow, DJ LeMahieu, 5,400, the most expensive Yankee bet.
Right, that's the thing. I think he is he's obviously a very, very, very good hitter.
Yeah.
I still don't think he's a $5,400 DFS hitter.
Right.
He has, I think it's a 186 ISO this year, which is good, especially for him and especially for someone with the batted ball skills that he has, as far as putting the ball in play. Also, it makes him a very solid play, but it's still a little bit expensive when you're really just looking for upside.
Yeah, we're on the same page here. Any Rays bats for you against Tanaka? They're not getting any ownership either.
If Darno's hitting in the middle of the lineup at 3,100, I don't mind that at catcher. I don't mind a really cheap Austin Meadows, but I would certainly, if I have to prioritize one side of this game, it would be the Yankees.
Yeah, you and me both. I have very little interest in anything other than Meadows. Pham's okay, but Meadows would be my guy coming into that lineup. Probably it. I hate this stupid thing. What was the last game we talked about?
Yankees and Rays.
Nah, Mets and Phillies. I'm a game behind. Tampa and New York. Perfect. All right, let's keep going. Perfect time for everybody to hit that like button. Do we have a line on Tigers Red Sox yet?
I see one, and it is a lot.
Okay. Let me update it then. Do you have Soto right now?
Yeah.
Or Carpenter?
Soto.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's Soto opening and then Carpenter.
Okay.
Which is holy hell.
Yeah. All right. So minus 225, 206. This was the only one that didn't have a total when I started the day. So I had 9.5 in there. I was a little off. It's 11. So we just update this and we'll be good to go.
So actually, I don't know what's going on. The
No kidding.
Gardenhire said Soto is pitching tomorrow,
Okay.
which would mean it's Carpenter today. I mean, obviously we'll find out when we get a lineup, and I don't think it makes a big difference.
It's not changing anything that we're doing. Yeah. I've got it in as Soto right now. We'll judge accordingly as we get there. It's not changing our analysis here. 4.5 implied total for the Tigers, 6.5 for the Red Sox. So when we said that the Nats had the highest number, I was wrong. It's the Red Sox by a mile. 68% chance to win right now. Potentially Gregory Soto as the starter for the Tigers. Eduardo Rodriguez going for the Red Sox. He is at 8% ownership on Yahoo, 7 on FanDuel, and 12 on DraftKings. How do you feel about Erod here against the Tigers?
I think he's fine. The price tag's a little higher than I would like, but Detroit's a favorable matchup. Rodriguez doesn't have trouble getting out right-handed hitters. The Tigers they're tied with the Padres for the 7th highest strikeout percentage against left-handed pitching this year at 24.4%. They still only have an 88 WRC plus. So they're not as inept as they are against right-handed pitching, but they're still not good. If you look at the lineup, you're still basically concerned about Nick Castellanos and then some lucky hits or something. So I think all that works in Rodriguez's favor. There are weather concerns in this game, it looks like. And also, again, it's just, I think he's pretty fairly priced. It's kind of like Tanaka for me.
Yeah, this is another spot where the FanDuel price is pretty appealing. He's $8,100, $100 more than Tanaka. I think that Yahoo or FanDuel is the spot for both of those guys. You said potential weather issues. Yeah, it looks like there could be a little bit of rain. Red Sox bats. They are 8th in ownership on FanDuel. They are 4th on DK. But that's pretty much just JD and Mookie. Mookie is 20% owned, JD 22, everybody else at 7 or below. I love the Red Sox here. I can't imagine not wanting them to be my number one stack. Am I missing something?
Nope.
Okay.
If it's Soto, so far this year, he has allowed a 256 expected ISO and a 422 expected WOBA to right-handed hitters. Both of those numbers are worse than the actual numbers that he's allowed. He has struck out 14.5%. If it's Ryan Carpenter, he has allowed a 261 expected ISO and a 424 expected WOBA, 287 actual ISO, and 409 actual WOBA. So it really doesn't matter. It's like numbers. And by the way, they're not good against lefties either.
Man, oh man. How does Xander Bogaerts get to 7% ownership only in this spot? I just want a ton of,
and people want to play DeGrom.
I guess. I just want to play Red Sox bats more than anything. I don't even know they would have to sit Mookie and JD for me to be less interested.
The game would have to get rained out.
That's a great point. Yeah. This is the spot for me. I want all of the Red Sox. They will be my priority. If that means that I have to have a lot of Yusei Kikuchi, it'll happen. Favorite bat? Is it Mookie or JD?
I don't have a coin near me.
Fair enough.
I guess Mookie.
Okay. Any interest in any Tigers bats against Erod outside of your boy Castellanos?
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. They're 11th in ownership right now. Not that that's crazy. John Hicks at 2K, making up 18% of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance you can take the first base catcher combo with John Hicks and Bobby Wilson.
Ooh.
Spend a total of $4,200 for 2 hitters.
I feel like we talked about this, but maybe we didn't. Any guesses as to what Bobby Wilson's projected weighted runs created plus is in Steamer?
I know you referenced it was 57.
59. Oh my God. I couldn't remember if that was you and me that talked about it or not. Their bottom 3 hitters in their lineup are all under 3K on DraftKings. That's really difficult to do.
I can't believe Gordon Beckham is still in baseball.
Yeah, how is he? I feel like he's 45 years old and he's probably 31.
Yeah. But I remember when he was a really highly touted prospect and everything. First
White Sox, right?
Yep. I think.
How old is he? He's 32. Almost got it.
University of Georgia.
Yeah. And the Westminster schools, whatever that means. Alrighty. I've got nothing else here. Play the Red Sox as much as you would like because it's a really good spot. Keeping it moving. Braves and Marlins, 5.7 run implied total for the Braves, 4.3 for the Marlins, 63% chance to win for Atlanta. Julio Teheran going for the Braves. I missed the stupid Red Sox timestamp, so I'll just have to make one up. Jordan Yamamoto going for the Marlins. Teheran, 11% ownership on Yahoo, 6 on FanDuel, 22 on DraftKings. I think he stands out as a really nice option in like the lower mid tier. I don't really know what the classification is going to be there, but I agree with the ownership at this point. How do you feel about Teheran?
Yeah, the price tag is just kind of messed up. Like, I don't think Teheran's good at pitching, but
Right.
The Marlins obviously are really bad. There's weather concerns in this game as well, so it's something we'll have to keep an eye on, especially since it deals with a pitcher. But you're going to get a predominantly right-handed lineup for Miami. 20.6% strikeout percentage for Teheran's not good. 330 expected WOBA is mediocre. 190 expected ISO is not good. But the Marlins have no power, so the most likely outcome is probably that Teheran gives you like an efficient, 6-7 innings or something. Doesn't get a ton of strikeouts, but gets like 5. And is perfectly fine at that price tag.
Yeah, he's too cheap for this matchup. It's just
I do have him.
The price is wrong.
Projected slightly behind someone else at the same price point. But I still have.
I mean, clearly it's Pomerantz, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. Sonny Gray the second.
Yeah. Kinda.
Yeah, just in a completely different tier.
Yeah. He's like the homeless man, Sonny Gray.
Drew Pomerantz is like, guys, I swear to God, he's like an average pitcher. Like, why does no one believe me? Where Sonny Gray, it's like, this guy's an ace and nobody believes me.
Right. Any Yamamoto interest for you? It seems a little expensive for me.
Yeah, I don't think he's very good at all. He finally had his first bad start last time out, which of course came when he was in my best lineup of an entire slate. But yeah, brutal matchup here against Atlanta. Not even an appealing price tag. I don't have interest in Yamamoto.
Same page. Definitely going to have some Teheran. A little bit of ownership going to the Marlins, but they're like 15th on DK, so nothing crazy. It's a price thing more than anything else. Do you have interest in the Braves as the stack? 5.7 run implied total is kind of nice.
Yeah, negative park shift for Yamamoto, a pitcher who, again, I don't think is very good. He was putting up decent numbers at Double-A. And then through his first few starts against Philly and St. Louis, he was putting up better numbers in the majors than he had been putting up at Double-A. That's not something that happens, and that happens over a long period of time. And facing Atlanta is not the matchup that normally keeps it going.
Favorite Braves bat?
Freeman.
Okay.
I mean,
Donaldson.
Donaldson's 3,900 on draft.
Yeah, it's probably Donaldson for me. Do you see yourself getting Marlins stacks to hedge Teheran? No? Okay.
No.
I don't blame you.
I mean, I really hope not.
Yeah. Yadiel Rivera in the lineup for the Marlins. Any guesses as to what his steamer weighted runs created plus is?
62.
52.
Wow.
There are some putrid baseball players playing today. I don't have anything else here. Let's keep going. Astros. Talk more good pitching. Astros and Angels. 5.2 run implied total for the Stros. 3.8 for the Angels. 64% chance to win for Houston. Justin Verlander going for the Astros. Felix Pena, from what I've seen, going to be in for the Angels. Verlander, most expensive pitcher across all three sites. $60 on Yahoo. 11,000 on FanDuel. 12K on DK. He's at 25, 16, and 18% across those three sites in ownership. Do you anticipate getting to Verlander here? I don't get the sense I will. Not that he doesn't have a fantastic projection.
I don't anticipate getting there, but among those top pitchers, I also don't think the price gap or the ownership gap should be like 2.3 times in DeGrom's favor.
Right.
Like I do have DeGrom projected a bit higher. He is less expensive. I understand that. But I think that gives you the opportunity where if you have a lineup where you can afford to pay up at pitcher, the optimizers are going to give Jacob deGrom preference because of that.
Yeah.
So getting Justin Verlander, who is just as good as DeGrom. His strikeout percentage this year is 2 points higher. His walk percentage is half a point higher. XFIP is higher. Sierra's about the same. I mean, it's more or less the same guy for DFS purposes. Verlander has the tougher matchup against the Angels, but it's still Justin Verlander. If you're going to get him at lower ownership, that's a way that you can pretty easily differentiate your lineup.
Yeah, I think that 18% number is probably like where I end up. Maybe a little bit high. I might be a little bit lower than that, but
Yeah.
I want to have him if that's the number. It's not fun to roster pitchers against the Angels. They've got a lot of guys in this lineup that just simply don't strike out. But it's not like you need a good matchup to roster Justin Verlander either.
It'll really come down to hitter value and what stacks I end up getting to.
Yeah. Any Pena?
No, just a really tough matchup. Obviously, questions about how many pitches he throws and all that.
Okay. Astros are 7th in ownership on DK, 15th on FanDuel. Most of that's going to 4K Jose Altuve. His price went down. You shitting me right now? I got nothing.
He got out of court. They all dropped. Bregman dropped like $1,000 too.
Oh my god.
Jordan Alvarez 4,600. Let's go.
This is ridiculous. Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of Astros, I think. I just want to know how you get to lower Jose Altuve's price. I'm literally at a loss for words. I don't understand. I simply don't understand. Any Angels bats for you though on the opposite side against Verlander? Ohtani?
Not so. Trout would be the one that I'm most interested in. Verlander's allowed a ton of power to righties. Yeah. So Trout, Upton.
He's given up like a ridiculous amount of bombs, right? Like
yeah,
20 or something stupid.
Yeah, like an insane amount. But if you look at like his splits for where that expected power is coming from against lefties, he's allowed a 189 actual ISO, but a 134 expected ISO with a 36.5% strikeout percentage. Against righties, he's allowed a 224 ISO with a 230 expected ISO and only a 27.5% strikeout percentage. So he's clearly having so far this season more trouble with righties than lefties. And the strikeout numbers against lefties have been better for years now. So right. I think that we should, if you're looking for an Angels home run, it's right-handed power is what you're most interested in.
Justin Verlander has given up a league-leading 23 home runs this season, but he's tied with 2 other starters. Can you name those starters?
Mike Leake.
Correct.
And Bundy?
No. Bundy is 11th. He's given up 19. But, if he plays his cards right, maybe he can get to 23 today.
Bieber? Cole?
No and no. Cole is 21st, Bieber 27th.
Lopez?
Yes. Ronaldo Lopez, Mike Leake, and Justin Verlander have all given up 23 home runs this year. Dan Straley doing his best to catch them at 22 in just 47 innings. Half of the amount of time that Justin Verlander has been on the field. More than half.
The crazy thing, so Verlander's PCRA is still 2.92, and that's a stat that it's basically XFIP, except it uses the actual batted ball data instead of league average. So it's accounting for the fact that Verlander's fly balls are getting hit really, that he's getting giving up a lot of, barreled fly balls, and it's still that low because of how dominant he is outside of the at-bats where the ball goes over the fence.
That is nuts. God, Dan Straley has a 9.82 ERA. Go Orioles.
Yeah, I love the Orioles. I don't know why they got rid of him. I mean, they clearly would like the number 1 pick again.
Tanking. Got a tank. Oh my god, that's so bad. Anything else in this game? Any favorite bat?
Alvarez.
Okay, yeah. It's hard to disagree with that. Although Altuve is pretty damn close.
I was going to say, the argument against it would be that he's $100 more expensive than Alex Bregman.
Yeah, that makes it difficult too. As an outfielder too, where Bregman's getting you third and short. And that's why Alex Bregman is projected to be owned 18% of the time on DraftKings.
Yeah, I was going to say. So I guess I'll rephrase it. My home run pick from this game from the Astros would be Alvarez.
Yeah.
The top hitter, I think, is Bregman.
I would agree with. Yeah, I think that's probably it.
Wow, Altuve is actually having a good year too. I kind of assumed he was sucking. I mean, not a good year by his standards, but a good year by baseball standards, like a 113 WRC plus, 199 ISO.
Yeah, that sounds like a 4K second baseman to me. I don't know. Get that man's price up.
Do you watch the league?
I do.
Height supremacist.
Somebody in chat said there's a height. The formula takes height into account. Altuve underpriced, DJ overpriced.
Oh yeah, good call.
Alrighty, keeping it moving. Twins and Rangers. 5.6 run implied total for the Twins, 4.4 for the Rangers, 61% chance to win for Minnesota. I've got Martin Perez, but I've seen also not Martin Perez. Have you seen anything else?
I've only seen Perez.
Perfect. Going with Perez. Adrian Sampson going for the Rangers.
Oh, sorry, just kidding. DraftKings has Pineda. Vegas Insider has Perez.
Oh.
Other sites have Perez.
I think we need to assume Perez for right now.
Fangraphs has Pineda.
Great. You guys figure it out. How about that? I have Perez in. Do you have Perez in your data?
Yeah.
Let's just go with that for right now. If it's Pineda, we'll talk about it on the deeper dive. Martin Perez is projected for 25% ownership on Yahoo, 9 on FanDuel, and 11 on DK. So I'm going to assume it's Perez for right now. No ownership at all going to Adrian Sampson. Do you want to roster Martin Perez?
Huge weather issues in this game as well. But those aside, yes, I do like the matchup. You're getting Texas outside of Texas. They've been one of the most favorable matchups for left-handed pitching this year. And Perez has clearly been better in terms of limiting power, limiting production. He's only allowed a 130 expected ISO to righties, 0.083 to lefties. The strikeout numbers have come down to, be pretty average after a really good start to the season. And I think that was expected if you dug into swinging strike numbers and stuff like that he wasn't suddenly a strikeout pitcher. But Texas gives you strikeouts. Most of the best hitters in Texas's lineup are left-handed. Perez, like I said, has allowed no power to lefties this year. He has struck out 23.5%, which is a pretty reasonable number. So I think that it's a pretty good spot for Perez.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm not so sure I get to that price tier. Like I don't get the sense that I'm going to have anybody really from Yamamoto to, I don't know, Tehran probably. Like that's a pretty big gap for me.
You skipped someone.
I didn't skip him. I ignored him willingly.
What happened last time you did this?
Was it Pomerantz?
No, it was great.
No. I played Mike Clevenger and they took him out after 70 pitches while he was having the exact same game as Sonny Gray. It was great. That one tilted me pretty good. Any Adrian Sampson for you?
No, thanks. Minnesota, obviously a really good offense. Sampson, not a strikeout pitcher. I'm good there.
Yeah. Twins are 4th in ownership on FanDuel, 8th on DraftKings. No ownership really going to the Rangers. Do you plan on stacking up the Twins? They're my number 2 stack right now.
They're okay. I haven't been getting there a whole lot lately, and I don't think Sampson's the terrible pitcher that I thought he was earlier in the year. I think he's pretty average here.
Yeah.
The weather doesn't look like, outside of the rain, the temperatures don't look as appealing as some other spots on the slate. But I think it's an okay spot. I think if Marwin Gonzalez is in the lineup at a really cheap price tag, that'll help with the full stack because he gives you a little bit of flexibility and he gives you a cheap bat.
Yeah, being able to get a $3,600 third baseman in hitting cleanup potentially pretty big spot, especially for that.
And just a reminder, Sampson's numbers against righties are just off the charts worse than they are against lefties. 390 expected WOBA and a 256 expected ISO to right-handed hitters compared to 315 and 145 to lefties. So that points to Nelson Cruz in particular, also CJ Cron, as probably the top plays for Minnesota.
Kind of makes Jonathan Scope a little interesting. It's not like he does anything good but hit for power. He's kind of like the Twins version of Rougned Odor.
Yeah, that's out. That's a good one.
Yeah, I know. Do you have anything else here?
Nah.
Okay. And I've been whiffing.
If it's Michael Pineda, then obviously it's a bump to the lefties in the Texas lineup.
Yeah, that I agree with. Let's walk that little timestamp back a bit since I forgot to do it for the second straight time. God, I suck at this. All right, let's keep going. We've got 4 to go.
Actually moving pretty quick.
I know. Diamondbacks and Rockies. 5-run implied total for the D-backs. 3.7 for the Rockies. 64% chance to win for Arizona. Zack Greinke going for the Diamondbacks. Antonio Senzatella going for the Rockies. Greinke, 16% ownership on Yahoo. 5 on FanDuel. 10% on DK. I really like Greinke here. Am I stupid? 10% feels low.
Yeah, I think it feels low too. Just looking at my projection for him right now compared to for Verlander and DeGrom. Verlander and DeGrom obviously are higher, but when you factor in the price discount, I think that I end up getting to some Greinke, especially if he is projected to be lower owned than both of those guys. Yeah. He certainly doesn't have the strikeout stuff that either of them do. Verlander's at 32%, DeGrom's at 30%, Greinke's at 22.6%. But he still has a respectable 19.1% K-minus BB percentage, which is third highest on the slate behind those two. He's still been good at getting outs. He's just a really smart pitcher who has figured out how to still be a very productive pitcher, despite the fact that he throws slower than a lot of high school kids now. And he's got a good matchup against Colorado with the Rockies coming into Arizona. The roof's closed because it's like 107 degrees. So that makes the ballpark more favorable for pitchers. I think there's a lot working in Greinke's favor. I don't love the price tag. I wish he were like $9K or something. I'd be like getting as much as I could.
Yeah.
But I think that there's going to be a lot of lineups that I make where I end up, I don't think the gap is big enough between Greinke and paying up even higher to justify giving up a bat or two.
I'm with you. He's 5% owned right now on FanDuel. 9,400. That's $1,300 cheaper than DeGrom at 28%.
Yeah, like I'm hoping it stays like that so that I can be overweight on Greinke without it being like my entire night hinges on Greinke.
Right. Like on FanDuel, if I get to 15 to 20, I'm real happy.
Sure.
Lots of lefties in that Rockies lineup, or at least in the projected lineup.
Not an issue for Greinke for what it's worth.
No. Any interest in Senzatella?
No, I guess like the argument would be that he's basically the same price as Sanchez and should be lower owned, but Arizona is a better offense than Baltimore is. They don't have as many strikeouts in their lineup. He's a 5K pitcher, but I think that I know that Sanchez projects better for me.
Okay. Any interest in bats on either side of this game?
No, not particularly.
Yeah, I pretty much feel the same way. Do you have a favorite bat in this game? No is also fine. Okay. Yeah, nothing really appealing here. Adam Jones is $9 on Yahoo, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. If Peralta's in the lineup on DraftKings, he's only $4,400.
That's not a bad price at all.
I love that it took Trevor Story getting outside of Coors and facing Zack Greinke to get his price back up.
Yeah. What are they doing? All right. Keeping it moving. Dodgers and Padres. 4.9 run implied total for the Dodgers. 3.6 for the Pods. 63% chance to win for LA. Clayton Kershaw going for the Dodgers. Eric Lauer going for San Diego. Kershaw, 24% owned on Yahoo. 11 on FanDuel. 17 on DK. This is probably like the best strikeout matchup for all of the high-end pitchers. I understand why Kershaw is getting that ownership. I like the spot for him. I think that I probably prefer Greinke just because of price and ownership. How do you feel about Kershaw?
I think that him and Greinke are basically the same pitcher. Kershaw has a strikeout percentage 0.1 percentage points higher than Greinke. His walk percentage is 0.7 percentage points higher. His xFIP is like 0.2 runs lower. His Sierra's 0.12 runs lower. They're basically the same guy now. They have average, slightly above average strikeout stuff. They don't walk anyone. They do a good job preventing runs. They both are in favorable matchups here. I don't really see the need to pay an extra 1,000.
Yeah, I don't really disagree. I think that Greinke will just show up more for me as I go. Do you have any interest in Lauer?
No, just a tough matchup with the Dodgers. He's just kind of a league average pitcher. He's done a pretty good job against lefties this year at limiting power. He hasn't struck them out at all. Not really strikeout numbers against righties either. I don't think I'll get to a lot of Dodgers, although they are affordable and still really talented, but I don't think I'll get to Lauer either.
Cody Bellinger is 5,300. Everybody else is cheap.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I don't expect to really get to the Dodgers. I'm certainly not going to be getting to much Padres, although, right-handed power, I guess, is sort of interesting here, but I think Kershaw's still good. He's just not old Kershaw.
Right.
That's probably it for this one.
Franmil Reyes and Hunter Renfroe. I mean, so the thing with the Padres is still that, Tatis is priced appropriately at 5,200 on DK, but the right-handed power in the middle of this lineup is so cheap that at the very least it does give you upside where if you're hand building a lineup and you end up in that 4K range and you're just looking for the guy with the most power, there's a really good chance it's like Hunter Renfroe or Franmil Reyes.
Yeah. Even 39 or 4,300 for a third base shortstop Manny Machado. Like it's I don't care who he faces.
Right. And you get the second base punt with Kinsler.
Right.
And a catcher punt with Hedges that has power.
Turns out we're going to be rostering the Padres, I guess.
I don't think I'll get to a lot. It's just that I think they do help you fill out your lineup in a way that doesn't cost you upside. Like it costs you likelihood of your team, coming through. But if your goal is just to get as much home run power into your lineup and you need a bat in this price range, there's a good chance a Padre is going to be your best value in that department.
I like it. Quick little announcement here. I just got pinged by Tom. I want to make sure I let everybody know. Fantasy Cruncher will be completely free for everybody for Summer League. They will not be providing projections, but you will be able to use Fantasy Cruncher for free for NBA Summer League over the next 10 days. So if anybody was interested, there you go. 2 games to go. Mariners and A's. Here we go. 4.4 run implied total for the Mariners. 5.1 for the A's. 57% chance to win for Oakland. Yusei Kikuchi going for the Mariners. Brett Anderson going for the A's. Kikuchi, no ownership on Yahoo, no ownership on FanDuel. 9% on DraftKings, where he is 4,400. Tell me how much you love my boy Kikuchi today.
He's so bad.
16.7% K rate.
Yeah. 16.7% K rate, 8.9 K minus BB percentage, 5.07 XFIP. Against righties this year, that's the wrong pitcher. Against righties this year, he has struck out 16.2%. 176 expected ISO isn't the worst. I actually thought it was going to be worse. 354 expected WOBA is not good. Not a good matchup against Oakland that has a ton of good right-handed power that really doesn't strike out a lot. I get that he's 4,400. He's just so bad.
You don't think you're going to get there?
I mean, I hope not. I think that I think I'll get him in some lineups just because of the price tag. I mean, I rostered 30% of Jacob Wagyu-Spock against the Red Sox. It's going to happen. He's just terrible.
Oh my God. That guy's name is not fun to say.
He also hit like 4X and it didn't even help me because Chris Sale was so freaking bad.
Yeah, it didn't go well for Sale, huh?
Nope.
Yeah, A's have the 3rd lowest strikeout rate against lefties this season.
Yeah, the big difference for me between Kikuchi and Sanchez is just the matchup. I think that I'll get to both, especially if one ends up being lower owned. I will have zero confidence in Kikuchi, and I'll have minimal confidence in Sanchez.
Yeah, I'm going to end up having too much Kikuchi. I'm not happy about it. Maybe I got to knock his innings back a little bit so that I don't have to feel as bad. Go 4-7, sure.
Maybe you'll get bailed out. He's still waiting on the birth of his first child.
Bailed out, like he'll get removed from the slate, so I don't have to roster him.
He'll get scratched.
Oh, well, then I'm gonna have to play. Who's the other real cheap guy that I think sucks? I'd probably I'd get to Senzatella before I got to Sanchez. I think.
Would you?
I think so. God, all of those things sound terrible. Any Brett Anderson for you? Why is he $7K on DK and $27 on Yahoo?
I don't know.
And he's not even good at $27 on Yahoo.
He grades out as like a decent value for me, but not a lot of upside, not a very wide range of outcomes. Only a 12% strikeout percentage against right-handed hitters. If I want to roster someone that doesn't get strikeouts, I will pay less money to do it.
Oakland Bats, 3rd in ownership on FanDuel, 6th on DK. They're my number 4 stack right now. How do you feel about Oakland here against Kikuchi?
I like them. Also, though, I hadn't actually looked at the pitcher ownership. If Kikuchi, I kind of doubt it plays out this way, but if Kikuchi actually does get like less than half the ownership of Sanchez, that would make me most likely just like a little under on Sanchez and a little over on Kikuchi.
There you go.
I think that it's more likely they end up like Sanchez comes down and they both end up kind of evened out.
Okay.
But yeah, it is what it is. It's just a cheap pitcher. You're not expecting much out of him. You're just hoping he doesn't get completely blown up.
Yep.
But Chris Davis at 3,800 is absurd. That might be the most mispriced guy on a slate full of mispriced guys.
Yep. I like all of it. It's just so much right-handed power from top to bottom. Matt Olson, 5K, 2% ownership. So even just having Olson here is a benefit to make a unique A's stack. Like I said, they're 6th in ownership on DraftKings, but it's 23% Davis and 15% to Semien.
Right. Which is a reason that so I know I use our stack I use our stack tool as a way to make sure that I'm getting exposure in Cruncher to different stacks that are probably going to go underowned. But it's a reason too why like you and I both rank our lineups based on ownership for each individual player. Yeah. It's really easy, and a lot of people do it, to just be like, oh, this team's too popular. You really want to be paying attention to the specific hitters, because when you get a team like this with a really popular Chris Davis, or, really popular whoever else, if you want a just contrarian A stack, all you have to do is not roster that one guy.
Yep. Yeah. Leave Semien or Davis out of the stack, and you're good to go. Or play them both and just have Matt Olson in it, and you are also still good to go.
Right.
Or anybody else on the team, really. I mean, like Kana 4, Pinder 1.
Yeah, I mean, like an example of it for me the other day was I knew the Cardinals, like when the Cardinals were really cheap against one of the Mariners lefties, I knew they were going to be popular, and I could see that I was still getting a lot of them, and I wasn't like really happy about it. But then as I started looking through my Cardinals lineups, I realized what it was that it was the slate where like Tyler O'Neill was 2K on FanDuel, and so he was going to be really, really popular. So I just had a bunch of 4-mans that had like Harrison Bader over Tyler O'Neill and stuff like that, and now I'm different.
Do you care about the Mariners at all? They are not getting ownership, and they don't grade out well for me.
No, their price tags are just higher than I would like.
Yeah. I'm on the same page as you. I think we're good here. Favorite bat in this game pretty easily, Chris Davis?
Yep.
All right. Final game. Giants and Cards. 4.2 run implied total for the Giants. 4.4 for the Cardinals. 52% chance to win for St. Louis. Drew Pomerantz going for the Giants. Dakota Hudson going for the Cardinals. 16% ownership on Yahoo. 7 on FanDuel. 21 on DraftKings for ya boy. Talk to me about Drew Pomerantz here against the Cards.
Pretty mediocre matchup, really good ballpark, decent price tag on him. The strikeout stuff is better than Tehran. Tehran's got a 20.5% strikeout percentage this year, whereas Pomerantz is at 25.8. So to put that in context, on this slate, the only pitchers with higher strikeout percentages this season than Drew Pomerantz are Justin Verlander and Jacob deGrom. Yamamoto's tied, but obviously has made like 3 starts. So, that by itself gives you some reason to be interested, but also not surprisingly, his numbers in San Francisco are much better than his numbers outside of San Francisco. He's given up, well over 2 home runs per 9 for the season. But if you look at his time at home, he's only allowed 1.01 home runs per 9 with a 30% strikeout percentage in San Francisco compared to 3.58 home runs per 9 with a 20.5% strikeout percentage on the road against righties, which obviously we're going to get a lot of them in this Cardinals lineup. At home this year, 1.1 home runs per 9, 29.2% strikeout percentage. He is one of the best pitchers in two strike percentage this season, 16th highest out of 152 starters that have thrown at least 750 pitches. That puts him right between Chris Sale and Eduardo Rodriguez. He is just kind of like an average pitcher with good strikeout stuff that is still pretty inexpensive. The biggest knock against him is that he's really inefficient. He hasn't gone more than 5 innings in a start in any of his last at least 10 starts.
Jesus.
But he throws between 90 and 100 pitches. He just is incredibly inefficient. So that's the knock on him. But he is still cheap enough where if he goes out there and gets you 20 to 22 points, you're in a pretty nice spot.
Last time he went more than 5 innings, April 24th. The only time that he went past the 5th.
Yeah. The crazy part about that is that in his last 5 starts, he's thrown 103, 93, 99, 93, and 92 pitches, but he still hasn't gone more than 5 innings.
What is he averaging this?
So on one hand, that's obviously a problem because he's just inefficient. And it makes sense because he walks a lot of guys and he strikes out a lot of guys. But on the other hand, it's not like they're saying we only want Pomerantz throwing 5 innings and they're taking him out. If by some like miracle he actually has an efficient start, he can give you more innings. Like he's stretched out is I guess what I'm getting at.
Yeah. 4.2 innings is his average this season per start. Whew. That's tough to do. What do you think about the ownership being 21%? Does that change anything for you?
It seems pretty, I think, accurate to me.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Do you prefer him to Tehran?
I think, I honestly think they should be split pretty much, and that's how we have it right now.
Okay.
It's
just so much better matchup for Tehran than for Pomerantz.
Yeah, but just a better pitcher and park for Pom.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much why I think like they project almost identically for me. I think that if throughout the day, like if the weather in Atlanta clears up and people just are all about Tehran against Miami and it were to become 30% Tehran to 10% Pom, I would expect that I still came in around, like 2020 or something like that.
Okay. Other pitchers don't stand a chance in Adam's player pool on slates that have Pom and Sonny. Not this most recent Sonny, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, he was my highest owned pitcher on FanDuel, but I still only had like 26%.
Yeah. Probably not what you were expecting when the day started.
Yeah.
Any Dakota Hudson?
No.
Okay. Bats in this game are a pretty tough sell for me. I really just don't enjoy getting offense in San Francisco.
Yeah, the only one that would stand out to me is Belt because he's a good hitter, has plenty of power. Dakota Hudson is getting absolutely torched by lefties, but it's still not like it's a priority on a 13-game slate.
Yeah, I'm happy to get $3,600 Paul Goldschmidt, no matter what's wrong with him. But again, this is not a place where I'm like super interested in getting a lot of bats. 13 games up, 13 games down, and we're done in an hour and 12 minutes, man.
Not bad.
No, not at all. Let's get all the plugs again out of the way. Later today, 1 p.m. Eastern time, myself, Jake Hari, Alex Baker doing a Yahoo-specific strategy show. We'll build a cash lineup. We'll build a GPP lineup. Talk some pitching. Deeper dive. We're going to start 4:45?
Yeah, just you and me. Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, if we start at 5, we're going to be like cutting the last game short. And if we start at 4:45, we're going to be killing the last 7 minutes with nothing to talk about.
Perfect. Come see us at 4:45. Adam and I will run this back. No Laffy today. Out with, I don't remember why he's not coming, but he's not going to be on the show. And then Jake Hari and Chris Randone going tonight live before lock. And then Fast Eddie Fear will be live for probably like 90 minutes up until NBA Summer League lock. If you want to sign up for our Summer League package, go to awesemo.com/join. We have a Summer League package right now. $19.99, so less than $2 a day for Summer League. It's a one and done package. No matter what package, like if you're a subscriber right now, it's still an add-on package. So You can get added to the private Slack channel for just Summer League. There will be a private link for the show. So this one's not going out to the public, guys. This one is locked down behind the paywall. If you want to get it, you got to pay for it. Come check it out. And another reminder that Fantasy Cruncher will be free for Summer League for everybody. Anything else?
That is it.
There we go, guys. Thanks for joining us. Hit the like button on your way out the door. MLB Strategies, the promo code, 50% off your first month with us. Thank you very much to Yahoo for sponsoring the show. We'll be talking about them in 2 more hours. So good luck today, guys. Talk to you later.